It may cause stress and disturb your sleep cycle. It could affect your brain function.
Whoa, what can do all this?
Checking your phone first thing in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe we need to talk about how to develop better habits.
I think we do.
Welcome to the Career Corrective, your career lifeline that gives you laugh lines with Jenny and Allie. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, Jenny,
Yes.
we are kicking off our series about habits.
Oh, wonderful. I could use some help with this.
Everybody can.
Gotta
Whether
put the
it-
good ones in there, and then the bad ones will slowly go away.
That's right. That's very mindful of you to say they're going to
What?
slowly go away.
Thank you.
Compassion.
Yes, that's what we're all about.
We've talked about it a little bit before in our discussions on self-sabotage, but we think there's just not too much information or too much help you can get with creating habits that you want and getting away from habits that really don't serve you. So we're talking about it.
That's right. You want your brain to function well.
So we have to get rid of that checking the phone first thing in the morning.
We do. It's so hard.
Right.
Everybody does it.
Before we dive into that, I was thinking we had so much fun playing our Food Network Chopped last time.
We did.
I thought we could continue with a little round of that game, but I wondered, should the scenario be different or should it be apps again?
I like the apps.
We're apps people.
We really are apps people. Lots of apps, though.
Yeah.
Don't just give me one or two. That's
Right.
not enough.
Like last time, I'll let you put me on the hot seat first since I'm the one who came up with this
Okay.
devilish idea.
All right. Let me think of a good one. Let me think of something really tricky.
Throw me a curveball right out of the gate.
I am. Okay, I got it. Your ingredient is a banana.
Well, it just turned into an apps and desserts party. We're going dessert on this.
Okay.
I can do banana for appetizer.
Okay.
Now, if we're thinking of being at an appetizer party, though, we want something that's going to be portable for our dessert.
Yes.
I think I'm going to do mini banana tarts.
Ooh.
The little tartlet shells.
Okay.
I'm going to make a custard, vanilla
I was just going to say, like something like a pudding.
We end up at this game working together, which makes it not at all like Chopped, but way more fun. It's really just us talking about, it's just a sly way for us to talk more about food, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Now
Thanks for playing with us, though, and humoring.
Yes. Listeners, tell us what your ideas are. We'd love to hear from you. Are we taking the banana and blending it and folding it into the custard? I'm wondering if we slice them, is it going to turn brown?
I want it blended in. Very smooth, very creamy.
Okay. Banana custard and then a little dollop of whipped cream, of course.
Yes.
And that's it.
Okay, I would like to add something to that.
Oh, what is it? I love this.
I want to add a nut to it, a chopped nut,
Pecan.
just a sprinkle on top.
That's a nice touch.
Thank you.
Can we have desserts first at this party? We know our last was a banger where we had potato chip wars.
Everybody got one.
Bang bang shrimp.
They were so full.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Oh, you mean the people were full.
The people were full. They definitely did not go and get fast food afterwards.
I'm not going to that party again. We have to go to Wendy's after.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your first ingredient?
I am.
Ooh, she sounds like she came to play.
Okay.
Ground turkey.
Ooh, ground turkey. Okay. I'm going to make nachos with the ground turkey,
I did not see this coming.
but I'm going to make them in like cups, I think. Like
Right.
individual cups, because you don't want people touching your chip.
I love that. At the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, Spain has a charcuterie cup.
Yes.
I think it's just such a nice, because of course there you have to have it so you can walk around and have it portable. But instead of a little plate, they do it in a little cup. And I think it's
Yes.
really nice.
Yes. I like that. I can't guarantee that it's going to be hot, but
Room temperature nachos are still delicious.
I think so.
I really liked your idea.
Thank you so much. I was going to go for the buffalo dish, but I thought, no, let's just do nachos.
Yeah, I think I think everyone at this party is really gonna love your turkey nacho cups.
I mean, a turkey chili would have been the obvious one, but this is nice. I agree. Okay. Your item is eggplant.
Oh, I have something so weird with eggplant that I think is so delish.
This is why I love this. I cannot wait to hear what you come up with.
Oh my gosh. I'm acknowledging right out of the gate that probably no one other than me will like this dish. But
Okay.
take your eggplant, you roast it until it's nice and squishy mushy. Right there, I lose people. Squishy mushy eggplant.
Yeah.
That's why people don't like eggplant. That's okay. I get it. And then I scoop it all out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not using the skin.
Now.
Put it in a blender with salt, pepper, nutritional yeast, and cheese.
Yeah.
It can be mozzarella. It can be a sharp pecorino.
Mm-hmm.
And then you emulsify it. So a food processor would work as well. You lay it into a pie plate and bake it and put more cheese on top. And then it's an eggplant dip.
That is genius.
I don't know. I overcooked eggplant one time and then I made it a game, of course. And then I thought, how can you go wrong adding cheese?
Right.
There's going to be tons for me because I don't think anyone's going to want any.
I will eat it with you.
All right. Party for two then. Your ingredient is pasta.
Ooh, any type of pasta.
Whatever you want.
Okay. I know what I'm doing.
Woo! Fast.
I'm doing a fried tortellini.
What?
Yes. And I'm going to serve it with a side of marinara.
I've never even heard of fried tortellini. Do you bread it?
Girl. Just fry them up. You can air fry them. You can bread them. You can do whatever you want with them.
Are we running into the issue of 3 ready at a time with this one?
We might.
It's okay. They're worth it.
Yeah.
Tortellini is delicious.
Yes.
A cheese tortellini, right?
Cheese. Yes, a cheese tortellini. But you can get creative with it.
I think frying them, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So I think
You can fry anything.
The title of my first book.
You can fry anything?
Check it out in Barnes & Noble.
I deep fried my sneaker last week and it was delicious.
But the soul is where it gets a good good crisp on there.
Just need the right sauce to dip it in.
That sounds really good, Jenny.
Thank you. Okay. Your ingredient is onions.
Oh, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to caramelize the onions. I'm starting out with a Vidalia.
Okay.
I'm going to caramelize those down. I'm going to put a little wine in there, give it some depth.
Yes.
Then when it's ready, everything is cooked through and caramelized. I'm going to take Gruyere.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the wonton wrappers.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them in the mini muffin tins.
Yes.
And then I'm going to put Gruyere cheese little piece on the bottom of each, and then the onions on top and a little chives on the top. Bake them. It's an homage to French onion mini wontons.
That's beautiful. I love that.
I really like the idea. I came up with the idea of using the wontons in the, well, maybe I read it. It's been so long, but the mini muffin tins, if you put those pre-sliced wontons into those, you can fill them with a whole bunch of different things, and they're nice for a party because they're portable little things.
I do it all the time. I throw a lot of parties, right?
How else would you know to tell Marge she couldn't take that second chip last week?
That's right. That's right. She's not invited back, but it's nice presentation.
Everything tastes delicious in wonton.
Yes, you get a nice variety.
Yeah.
You could do 3 different fillings, I feel.
And I hope that onion one will be one of them.
It is. All right, I'm ready for mine.
Tortilla wraps.
Oh my gosh. What can't you put in there? Okay, I'm going to put cheddar cheese all over them. Then turkey. I'm going to slice up some apples. And then spinach. I'm doing pinwheels.
I think we need a toothpick in each of those. Those are going to be delish. Actually, we could throw this party with everything we said to get all of our dishes work together. Actually, they're all over the map, but I still want to taste all of them. When we have a career corrective meetup, you all know what to expect, a mishmash of apps. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love it.
It's going to be fun. You want to dive into this?
Oh,
Want to get started? All right. We know we've talked about this in our discussions on self-sabotage, but today we're going to look at it at a different angle. So, Allie, can you talk to us about what you've learned from reading about habits from the perspective of neuroscience?
I think this is such an interesting view. I think it gives us all hope. There's a concept that I think the researcher was Jeffrey Schwartz, and then Dr. Rick Hansen, a psychologist, talked more about it later, picking up on that idea. But it's this concept of self-directed neuroplasticity.
Oh, that is just, it sounds fancy.
Yeah. But it's simply that you're making an effort to shape your brain by reflecting on how your habits make you feel.
Okay.
And thinking about it in an overly simplistic approach is, I have a habit of eating 46 cakes at night. Let me think, how does that make me feel? It could be emotional. It could be physical. It's just taking that reflection to work toward implementing more beneficial habits.
What is the science in a nutshell?
Okay. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. All the disclaimers. This is just a conversation about what I've read and my interpretation of these things for sake of our discussion and helping people with habits. I think about the science from the lens of neuroplasticity, like it says in the name of the concept. But it's every time you repeat a behavior, you strengthen your neural pathways in your brain. A lot of times, Jenny, you'll tease me in a loving way that I talk about the metaphor of going to the gym in what we're working toward. And that's the metaphorical version of literally what's happening. If you practice things over time, the metaphor of working out in the gym, you're going to be more likely to do them in a habitual way. And that's what's happening. The neural pathways are, think of it as shoveling snow. If you keep going over the fresh snow with that shovel, eventually the sides will be accumulating, but that path will be created for you and it will make it easier for you to walk through it. That's how I think of the neural pathways being reinforced in you doing things over and over. When you repeat behaviors that don't serve you, the habits get stored, like we've mentioned before, in the part of your brain that is separate from where your conscious decisions were made. And we've touched on this before. But that's why there's a cue, something triggers your behavior, then you perform an action, and then the brain gets rewarded. And oftentimes, things that feel good aren't the things that are the best for us. So the neural pathways being strengthened and making that conscious decision to strengthen ones that lead toward more positive habits is a way to rewire the brain.
Yes. So we've talked about why people break good habits and self-sabotage, but can you talk to us about what you've learned at it from this lens?
In a nutshell, it's evolution. Back in the day, our ancestors needed this reward system to survive. They sought out comfort, safety, calories, things to make less harsh the conditions in which they lived. But fast forward to today, that same wiring can now lead us astray. I think we've all seen on Instagram or other social media where they say, stop chasing dopamine, do this instead. That's what it is. It's talking about.
Okay. Continuing from this perspective, what does the science show about breaking a bad habit?
That the brain is on your side. We are wired to adapt. And I think it's so funny because a lot when you read about this, it'll say the discomfort you feel is a sign that you're doing the work. And it almost sounds like somebody trying to talk you into do something terrible. Oh,
Right.
when it's going horribly, that's when you know it's actually going well.
Right, right.
If we think about our work goals, we just talked about advocating for yourself at work. If you think about going in and asking for a raise, you want to take things slow and incrementally because you want that change to be real and lasting like a habit. And if you work your way up to that and it really becomes a part of what you're about and a part of what you do, advocating for yourself, then if you do get up the courage to ask for a raise, then once you get the raise, you're going to behave in a way that aligns with someone who deserves it. If you just go for it and don't go through that uncomfortable step of working on things to make them more habitual, then you could say, I'd really like a raise. And the boss will say, okay, I got that approved. And then you spend the next year going, I don't know, I can work extra because I don't know if I really deserve this, or so-and-so should have gotten it. You can backtrack and undo what you did. So habits are a great way to make them more achievable of a new way of being.
I love this.
It's getting juicy, Jenny.
It really is. It's time for our listeners to be the judge, right?
Oh, yeah,
Let's do it. So today we've gathered information from the World Wide Web about habits, and you get to be the judge to see if these have been true for you. Habits form in loops. So it's cue, routine, and reward.
Just what we talked about. And unfortunately for us, the ones that are like checking your phone in the morning are the more rewarding one. That's why it is nice to know. That's why it's hard. Just recognizing that.
Yes. Okay. The next one, it said it takes more than 21 days.
Ah, yes. Crucial. There's myths that it takes 14 days to create a habit. There's 21 days to create a habit. Long story short, it can vary so much. There's articles that suggest that it's 66 days, but if you dig in a little deeper, there's no one answer on how long it takes to create a habit. It can vary so much by person and depending on the circumstances. What are we working on? Again, are we trying to learn to, play the ukulele and practice every day?
Right.
I like to think of it in 2-week cycles. A trick that I use, whether it's a work habit or anything in my personal life, I'm going to do this one day at a time for 2 weeks. And I get to decide if I want to re-up on that or not.
Okay. I love that. The next one is bad habits are easier than good ones.
2 things we've talked about with this is that the brain loves to do the path of least resistance. If it's something that you're used to and it's built in, your brain didn't have to think about it or really choose it. And something that gives you that dopamine hit is going to unfortunately be in the realm of scrolling, binge watching TV. And it feels like more effort to do something that might be a little bit more constructive, reading a book or something that's takes a little longer to feel rewarding. Like what did happen to the little women in the book Little Women? You have to wait all the way to the end to really know how their stories go.
The next one is morning people and night owls have different habit patterns.
Forcing a night owl to wake up early for productivity might backfire. While working with their evening energy, it could yield better results. I really don't know what to say to that other than, yeah, of course they do.
Exactly.
I guess the point is aligning habits with your natural body clock can make them more sustainable. That's the point of what they're saying. Now that I'm thinking about it, if you want to work out and you're a night person, then maybe your gym time should be 7 p.m. If you're a morning person, then maybe it's 5 a.m. So things like that actually could be beneficial. What do you think, Jenny?
Right. Yeah, work with your natural body clock.
There's going to be a quiz at the end. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Right. Or what if you're neither?
What are those people? Middles?
They're just middles. They're surviving.
Oh, okay. When you say they, it sounds like you mean you.
Maybe. I'm speaking up for the in-betweenies.
We do well at lunch.
We do well for an hour during the day.
Catch us from 12 to 1 and you will not be tired.
All right. We have changing your environment can break bad habits.
I understand this. I get it that it can do that. It's that whole idea of you read a lot about if you want to do a more nutritious lifestyle, then don't keep junk in the house. And I understand that. But to me, it's more important to deal with whatever's causing that problem to exist in the first place. What I mean by that is if you are having a problem at work where you are stressed out because your boss is a micromanager, you can leave that job, but don't you want to learn to advocate for yourself and learn how to deal with a micromanager and get to what is causing the problem for you in the first place? Because then if you do change jobs and a lot of things are better, but the micromanagement still continues, we're just always going to move from one problem to the next. That's just my hot take on that.
Well, it's like with relationships as well, right? It's the same thing.
I would say, yeah. What do you mean by that?
If you're in the habit of thinking a certain way, your perspective on relationships, or you've had baggage from the past and you don't work on that, it's just going to carry over into your next relationship.
That's what I believe to be true. Spot on. And if you change your environment, so in Jenny's scenario, which is go into a new relationship and the person is different and positive, you're going to get so much more out of that if you deal with your habits. Let's use an example. If you're someone who is controlling, if you go into a new relationship with someone who is more passive, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't appreciate being treated in a less controlling way. So the environment of the new relationship is different, but it's still better for you if you deal with those things because it's healthier and the habits associated with behaving that way are healthier. So you're going to be even happier in a new relationship.
Yes.
Great point, Jenny.
Yeah.
I'd like to give an example because you always tell me
I do. I love your examples. The next one is multitasking can reinforce bad habits.
There's the science that says there's no such thing as multitasking because the brain can't focus on more than one thing at a time. And I have fought this. It's the sword that I'll die on, but I know it is true. You can't do anything well if you're doing more than one thing at a time.
That's right.
I took this course where we learned all about nutrition and how to treat yourself, and they talked about unconscious eating.
Yeah.
Multitasking could be you're watching TV and before you know it, the bag of chips is gone and you don't even realize that you ate it. I think that's a good metaphor for how multitasking can play out.
Yes, I agree.
All right. What do we have next?
All right. We have piggybacking helps build habits faster. One good habit, and then you're building another one right after it.
But it's when I brush my teeth, I also floss.
Right.
You're not doing it at the same time.
I mean, you could if you have the little flosser picks.
Or you have a really intimate staff. Where is my teeth, Brennan?
Miranda, get over here.
Who's on teeth brushing for me tonight and who's on flossing, and why are they not both here at the same time?
I was watching TV and I ate a whole bag of popcorn, so I really need this.
I have a really nerdy thing that I've prepared for us to do, Jenny.
Ooh, okay.
Let's nerd out. I gathered quotes on the topic of habits, and I thought we can just throw them out there and see if we have anything that we want to say about it. If not, then just people might like a quote about habits.
Yeah.
James Clear is the author of Atomic Habits. It is a book that I have. The pages are folded. I love the book. There's so many things in upcoming episodes that I want to talk about related to the book. But one of the quotes, when I Google searched him, what's one of his most famous quotes? You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Ooh.
Everything that we've talked about with self-sabotage, it's setting yourself up for success, getting to know what your triggers are, getting to understand what kind of arguments you're going to come up with for yourself, what lies in the subconscious, what have we been taught. If you don't work with yourself to create systems that work for you, then that subconscious is going to take over. And you're going to be doing things where you reflect back and say, that's not even what I wanted to do today. Why did I do that to myself? Again,
right. Yeah.
You're much more likely to fail and much more likely to feed into any self-doubt that you have, any self-esteem issues that you have. Stephen Covey, author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of his quotes is, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reaps a character. Oh, okay.
And become it. You're going to become it.
Okay, and then your character is your destiny. I get it. It's just, to me, there's more of a straight path there. Okay, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time and the person who runs Berkshire Hathaway,
yes,
said, chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. All of them are doing this, but getting to the little steps, the little action. And that's what I was talking about before. If you think about advocating for yourself at work or building habits to where you're going to be more satisfied, less stressed, all of the things that we want for you in the workplace, if you do these big sweeping, go for it moments, and you don't build up those habits and become more toward that person who feels they deserve what they're asking for or what they're advocating for or what they're trying to avoid because it's not helpful to them, your consistency and your dedication to building upon those steps and making habits out of it is where the magic lies. If all of these people who are hugely successful in their own right in many different areas, if they all have quotes on habits, there's got to be a reason for that.
Absolutely. So it's starting with the small ones, and
That's it.
and then you build them up so that you're solid.
Exactly. It's not, let me not think about this and then I do a huge jump, because that's not sustainable and it's not setting yourself up for success. It's incremental change. I guess it's the tortoise and the hare. Slow and
Yes.
steady wins the race.
Yes. All right. What's the next one?
Well, the next one is Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism and the
Mhm.
author of, this is the translation, The Way in and the Virtue. And he said, watch your thoughts, they will become actions. Watch your actions, they will become habits. Watch your habits, they will become character. Watch your character, it will become your destiny, is talking about mindfulness. And I think that thinking about these tiny, it's a chain of events that he's displaying. And I don't know why, for me, the way it's phrased here is so much more something I can grab onto so much more easily than the way Stephen Covey said it. It's this tiny thought that's going to bring you to the destiny of your life. Let's bring it to the workplace. It's a tiny little thing that you can do in saying no to taking on more work on a random Tuesday. You can decide that's the day I'm not going to overwork anymore. And you do it once. You're leaving work at a decent time and you go do something fun instead. And then that can be the beginning of you going, no, I saw my daughter's athletic game and the interaction we had after when we went for ice cream. I'm missing this because of my overworking, which can then make you decide the next day to make a different choice. And now you're building to a different destiny.
And like how you worded them.
Benjamin Franklin, he's a founding father. He's a
Yeah.
scientist. He's an inventor. He's a diplomat. What didn't he do? Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. A little judgmental, Ben.
I would say so. Stop trying to push your idea of perfectionism on us. Jeez.
Right. Well, that wraps up the quote portion. I love to get all of those nuggets from throughout time and place and profession. It's a fun sampling.
It is. And then the way you perceive them is different for everyone. Everybody can interpret it in their own way.
Yeah.
I like that.
Some people may say, you know what I heard? I heard that Doritos for breakfast every day are the way to go. That's what I got out of that. And go you.
Right.
Then go forth.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good habit. So that's what I'll be doing. Going back to this idea of habit pairing, I did some quick Googling and found some ideas that I thought we could chat through and see if they're helpful for our listeners.
Yay.
Yeah, we're going to send them on their way with a positive note for the week.
Yeah.
An audiobook or podcast pairing. How about that?
Yep. So your habit is you want to do a daily walk, a daily workout, you're trying to move your body more, get those 10,000 steps. If it's something that I've heard a lot of people say, this is going to happen. I'm going to do every morning. And then how's it going with your walk every morning? It was so cold this morning. So
Yeah.
I didn't go.
Yeah. Put on a hat and a coat. Get your butt out there.
Jenny doesn't want to hear it.
No, get out.
If you pair it with listening to an audiobook and then you're on chapter 3, you are dying to know, do they or don't they get together? You're not going to know unless you go on that walk.
Exactly. I love that. It motivates you.
Yeah. What else do we have, Jenny?
Okay, so then we have a coffee or tea ritual, or you could do a beer and wine ritual and pair it with a cheese.
I'm really working on my cheese habit.
And you could pair your brie with, I don't know, I just be crazy, pair it with a slice of pepperoni.
I'm really working on my charcuterie habit. I'm not having enough charcuterie in my life. I don't know what to do.
You could pair an Irish cheddar with a Greek olive.
Oh, and that's really what we're talking about is the power of charcuterie. It's what we really want you to know. That's going to help you this week. But just in another direction with this. The coffee or tea ritual could be your morning journaling or planning. You can brew your favorite coffee, maybe a little hazelnut creamer in there.
Yes.
Maybe you want an Earl Grey, an Irish tea, and then you can pair that with the goal of journaling or planning. I want to talk about planning for a second. Being proactive while we're on the habits conversation, planning can seem necessary when you have a lot going on. So, who needs to be picked up when? What time do I have this appointment? What's my day about? But being proactive and taking time in the morning to think to yourself and write down what you want to accomplish for you that day. I'm not big on journaling. I think there is a place for it. If that's a way that can get you to where you need to go with your goals, then I'm all for it. But for me, planning and writing things down, it helps you stick to your boundaries so much better. And pairing that with a coffee and tea, that sounds like, I don't know why this isn't on the list for things to do for fun.
I know. It sounds so relaxing.
Just going to really look at my day.
Yeah, do that instead of looking at your phone. The next one is to create a reward jar.
If you complete a work task or stick to your study schedule, which you made the morning before with your brew, you can have a small reward in the jar every time. It would be a little promise note. Whatever I wanted to do on Monday, I write down pedicure, put that in the jar. That means that weekend I get to go do a pedicure, or drop some dollars in there that can pay for the pedicure. But whatever the reward is for completing your task or sticking to your goal, I think that could help you stick to something that you want.
Yeah, it will keep you accountable because you want that reward.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Right. So the next one is TV time tie-in.
This is the same as the pairing, audiobook or podcast pairing. It's another way to pair a habit that you're working toward with something that you enjoy, working out while you're watching TV. Yes.
I've started to do this and I really enjoy it because your mind is occupied with the TV and you're also doing your stretching and strength training. So it goes much faster. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you know it works?
I do. So, I like this one. I do this one a lot. So music motivation.
Tell us.
If I'm feeling like, okay, I got to tackle my chores and I want to just get it done, I will turn on some music that, amps me up and I'll just start knocking it out. I'll dance, move my body a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a fun way to help you get going.
I think you could also use this for work. Think about all the work you can do. Everybody has some version of admin or busy work that's just very routine. I think pairing your music with that type of stuff could make it more likely that you'll get it done in a timeline that works best for you.
Yes. Music motivation is one of my favorites, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that you're really into that, and I think it's awesome. It's a really good idea.
It's finding what interests you and then using that as a tool. That's how
Yes.
I think of it. All right. Our last one is gamification with apps.
I love that idea. I don't know what apps would work for this, but the whole idea is I want to drink more water. So you can use the app that turns the habit into a game where you earn points, unlock achievements, or compete with friends. If any of you know any gamification apps for habits, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear.
Yes.
That's all we're going to talk about for today, but this is just episode 1, Jenny, of our habit series.
Yes. We're just diving in. Stick with us.
Yeah, we think that if you work on something in the realm of habits in one area of your life, it will definitely help you in your career. So, all of the things that we talk about throughout this series, you can decide where you want to begin, whatever is best for you. This is always all about you and helping you make steps forward in whatever way you can and helping you ultimately with your work life.
Yes. So try a few of these out. Let us know how they go for you.
Even though the address is askcc@careercorrective.com, you can write to us with anything. You can share, want to give us ideas, whatever you want to tell us. We want to hear it.
We always love to hear from you. Yes.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for hanging out with us this week. We can't wait to hang out again next week. And until then, we love you.
Have a great week, everyone.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.